Who in their right mind decides that they're going to create a 10-course degustation menu for 20 fucking people?
Me. You're invited to a sickening celebration of me. I created a 10-course degustation extravaganza that celebrates all things me. Camp cuisine realness. Designed by me. Starring me. Filmed by me. Cooked by me. Dress code is Matt Jordan, Eleganza. Dressed to impress me.
Tens across the board.
Hi guys, welcome back to The Shadow Chef. I'm Matt Jordan and today I'm going to be recreating the first course from last week's 10-course degustation birthday extravaganza. The first course was a single oyster topped with Sriracha Pearls, soy foam and a squeeze of fresh ginger. Now, if you haven't tried molecular gastronomy before, this is probably the one thing that you could jump in boots and all, and it's pretty difficult to screw this one up. All it involves is a technique called cold oil spherification, which is a neutral oil that popped in the freezer for about an hour to cool that down. 100 grams of sriracha, 100 grams of water, and 3 grams of Agar Agar. Bring the sriracha to the boil, let that boil for about 2 minutes, then let it sit for about 5 minutes, cooling it down. Then you just grab your syringe and then you just start pumping it into the oil. It's quite a simple technique. It does actually look quite scary, but once you get the hang of it, it's a lot of fun and it's definitely something that you'd be able to do at home, and I think your guests would be pretty impressed. Every guest just got a single oyster, which isn't a lot, but it was a degustation menu. The foam, which was another element that added a huge wow factor to the dish. 100 grams of soy sauce and 1 egg yolk, and just use an immersion blender and sit the blender just on top of the surface of the soy sauce and froth that up until you get enough foam that you can then start scooping that out and onto the oysters. Visually, you'll see that it's such an impressive thing to serve, and all up, it probably takes about half an hour, not factoring in the hour that you need to leave the oil in the freezer for. So anyway, let's get started and we'll come back and have a chat about this after we're done. One of the stress points with the sriracha balls is the temperature of the oil. If you're making a large quantity of the balls, or if you're working in a kitchen that's quite warm, say you've got your oven on and you've got your stovetop on, you need to move as quickly as possible when you're injecting the sriracha into the oil, because as soon as the temperature of the oil starts to rise, the sriracha starts clumping together, and you're not getting that beautiful spherical shape that
you would normally do so if the oil was pulled straight out of the freezer. And I mean, that's an easy thing to overcome, because what we did was we just threw the oil back into the freezer, let it sit for another 20 minutes, pulled it out, did another batch. So that's just one thing to remember with this cold oil spherification method. It is really, really simple. 100 milliliters of sriracha, 100 milliliters of water, and then 3 grams of Agar Agar. Bring it to a boil it for about 2 minutes, then let it rest for about 5 minutes, into the syringe, and then just start pumping them out. But soy foam, relatively simple. I only used 3/4 of an egg white, simply because I think I'd measured out that I had about 50 milliliters worth of soy. One thing to remember with the foam is when you're squeezing your ginger juice into the oyster, try not to hit the foam, because any additional liquid will just decompress the foam, and it'll just end up looking ratty, and nobody wants that. Make this the last element that you put onto the plate, because it does lose a lot of its volume if it's sitting around, which is what kind of happened to me, because we had some people who were late, and we obviously couldn't start the first course, and I'd already plated everything up. So anyway, it still looked amazing, and more importantly, it tastes incredible. Yum. Oh shit. Yeah. Oh, maybe I was a little heavy-handed with the sriracha. So I hope you've enjoyed the first course. There's another 9. Oh no, yes, there's another 9 videos to come. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, and if you want to see more of the videos, hit subscribe. Thanks guys. Bye.